Story 1. Whistling. No matter how many tutorials I watch or how much I try, all I get is an awkward puff of air. At this point, I have accepted that it is just not meant for me. Story 2. Driving makes me nervous. I can only manage the route from home to work and back. Nothing beyond that. Story 3. Anxiety has affected every part of my life and it has really disrupted things. However, I deserve credit for still pushing through and persevering despite it all. Story 4. Noticing things my wife notices, especially regarding cleaning up. I can't seem to get it in my head. I am trying, though. Story 5. I can't explain it. In person with someone I don't know, my nerves go to the extreme, and I say some of the dumbest things. I have only recently gained the ability not to automatically agree with opinions I find unacceptable just to avoid an argument. The reason I say I can't explain it is that I'm perfectly comfortable in a fistfight. I've won and lost plenty of them, and if someone wants to escalate, I'm rarely the first one to back down. But I really can't explain why words make my hands and body shake in the middle of an interaction. I hate it so much. Story 6. Riding a bicycle is the reason I dislike the expression, just like riding a bike. I can only ride and operate vehicles with a minimum of 4 wheels. Story 7. Losing weight can be challenging. I lose weight and then gain it back. During my exchange semester, I went up to 90 kilograms. I am 1.76 meters tall and 25 years old at that time. Within a few years, I reached 110 kilograms. I reduced my weight to 93 kilograms before my marriage, but now I weigh 117 kilograms. I feel frustrated. Story 8. Baking and cooking can be frustrating. No matter what I do, if I try to fix a problem in another dish or dessert, it still comes out tasting strange. I am now ashamed to let anyone eat what I make. Story 9. Math is something I can never understand. This is probably due to past experiences. My mom says I used to be good at math, but I have no memory of that because of the trauma. Story 10. Math is embarrassing. I had a person I have never met before laugh out loud at hearing me try to do quick addition. Story 11. Numbers are just the way my brain is wired. Words stick to me like Velcro while numbers slip away easily. Story 12. Exponents are frustrating. I have an average of 96% in math, yet I have failed every exponent test since 7th grade. I have had it explained to me numerous times. I understand for a short while, but then it feels confusing in the moment. Every time I see more than one exponent, I feel overwhelmed. I have received tutoring, and after math class sessions, both parents and students have explained it, but it remains difficult for me to grasp. I struggle with having a learning disability. The worst part is that I perform well in math, maintaining a 4.0 grade point average and an A in the subject. Story 13. Setting boundaries for myself in my business is important. I often feel guilty and struggle to prioritize my needs, undervaluing my services and allowing others to waste my time. Story 14. Whistling. I have never been able to make a true whistle sound. I have tried tutorials and sought help from my family, but I just can't do it. Story 15. Diving. I have no issues sailing in massive swells, scuba diving, or jet skiing. Story 16. I hope there are people who can relate, but no matter how much I try, I can never fully understand electrodynamics or solve its problems. Story 17. That is easy. Cooking. No matter which recipe I use, the food never comes out looking like the picture, and the cooking time differs from the directions, whether it is frying, roasting, or baking. I want a recipe that requires no modifications and still looks good, tastes good, and uses few ingredients. Story 18. Life. I work as hard as I can, and it's never enough. I'm behind on everything and definitely at my breaking point. Story 19. Cooking. No matter how many friends have helped me try to get into it over the years, I feel completely out of place in the kitchen. I struggle with it and dislike it. You'll find me enjoying a glass of wine and choosing the next song nowadays. Story 20. I live 10 minutes from a ski resort. I have accepted it, though I would much rather go on a trail run or hike when there is less snow. Let my wife and children enjoy ski days. Story 21. I'm going to be honest. I don't struggle much with learning. The only thing I struggle with is cleaning up and being on time. Although it's a pervasive issue, I know I'm not as bad as others. I can't handle too many things at once. I have a smaller bandwidth than most people, including schoolwork, household tasks, and general chores. However, I'm young and have different skills that others might not possess. Story 22. Guitar. It is tempting to strum along and sing instead of actually learning to play the guitar well. I do not sing well or play well either. Story 23. My sketches resemble those of a 4-year-old. People around me laugh, point, and exclaim, "What is that?" whenever I attempt to draw something. Story 24. I still cannot figure out how I maintain a salary and occasional appreciation from management. Story 25. Card games. I am trying to remember the rules and how to play, but people act inappropriately, so I stop trying. Story 26. Video games, cooking, and reading are activities I enjoy, although I often struggle with maintaining my attention. I also like to relax and engage in playful conversations. I'm not particularly skilled at many things. Story 27. Art, especially digital art, is a passion of mine, but that doesn't stop me from painting or creating for fun. I do wish I were better at it, though. Story 28. The Dutch language. If you are raised with something and use that skill every day, it does not mean you are good at it. According to school, my English is even better than my Dutch. Both are terrible. Story 29. Building computers and information technology. I even attended college for a few months before ultimately deciding that I am too large and clumsy for that industry. Story 30. Communication can be challenging, even with friends. I often struggle to think of topics, which makes conversations feel awkward. Story 31. I am working on my car. I try a lot, but simple tasks take a long time. In the end, I often mess something up and need to call someone for help. Story 32. Drawing hasn't changed since the 3rd grade. I'm well past that now, and it's still crayon ducks. Story 33. Ice skating and rollerblading. I have desperately wanted to be good at these activities, but I have the balance of a puppy and the center of gravity of a breadstick. I just cannot. Story 34. Languages. It's not that I'm actually bad at them. It's that I have no ability to understand what is being said to me or to vocalize the words back. I can only assume it's like a form of dyslexia. Story 35. Making pies from scratch. I have attended culinary school and worked in fine dining restaurants. I consider myself a reasonably talented cook. All my pies taste good, but they often look as if they fell off the counter and were hastily put back into the pie plate. Story 36. Riding a bike while holding another bike may sound like an acrobatic trick, but in the Netherlands, it is a basic life skill. I still cannot do it after years of practice, which is quite embarrassing for an adult male. Story 37. Chess. I focus so much on defending my king and not losing any pieces that I forget to mount an offensive. Story 38. Forgiving and forgetting when the transgression hurts anyone I love, whether directly or indirectly. Story 39. Don't ask me to play any shooting games. I try, but I'm not very good at it. Unfortunately, I ended up stopping playing Splatoon. Story 40. I've never been bad at anything I actually tried. I'm usually not great, but I'm not bad, so I guess I'm just not good at it. Story 41. Ironing clothes is a challenge for me. They get wrinkly again the moment I move or flip them. Additionally, shirts are particularly difficult to manage. Story 42. Bung wanted love and liked. There isn't a person on this earth who doesn't hate on me. I know that it's on them. It's just unfortunate. No matter how good, honest, loyal, selfless, fair, or supportive I have ever been for anyone, it seems that those qualities make them hate me. Jealousy remains the #1 reason. Nobody has to say it. It's pretty clear. I have a female friend who says she loves being around me because all she has to do to see a person's true colors is bring me along. My kids said the same thing growing up. They would say, "Dad, I love it when you come around. It doesn't matter who else is here. Everything changes when you walk in." All the dads suddenly aren't acting like they're the best dad around, and all the moms and teachers want you to notice them, while all the kids want to hang out with us to see how you are. It changes everything. Women hate on me over time for giving or trying to give everything they tell me they want. Usually, they don't really want what they say, but silly me hears them and sets out to make it happen. As soon as they realize that making it all happen requires sacrifices and maturity, they fabricate reasons that imply I am a bad partner. In reality, they simply cannot meet the requirements to make those things materialize. It's easier in the moment to do the wrong things than the right things. I am not mad at anyone. Ido. If I want something, I probably already have it, so I don't care about anyone else's input unless I ask for it. I know the truth, and if anyone else is capable of being honest and placing honor and truth over their ego, that's on them. I could delve deeper, but I know that no matter how much truth I share, there will always be people who try to downplay or negate those facts, perhaps because they enjoy proving me right. Who knows their reasons? But then again, who really cares what they do or say? It's rarely ever directed at me in person. They tend to be brave and tactful online. I keep getting stronger and appreciate the efforts to make my life harder. Nothing feels better than being and doing everything very few others have been capable of doing. Even better is overcoming odds and challenges that others, deprived of support or resources, would find difficult. I have no doubt those individuals would not be as happy, healthy, or resilient as I am. So come on, haters, keep on hating. Spin any lies you want. Say anything you think will hurt me. As I always say, if you want to see if you can harm me physically, since I'm not a very big guy, then by all means, come on and try. I'm not hiding. However, each person, if honest with themselves, knows I try to be helpful even if I don't particularly care to. I strive to be a good person until I am not. I don't do sneaky. I have one face and it shows how I feel. In the end, I can honestly say I'm not the one who engaged in any low-class betrayal. Yet, nobody ever liked my reactions to their wrongdoing, especially when they had the spine to do it in my presence. I'm sure some of you will try to ban me or pretend to be someone you're not, hoping to influence some reaction from me so you can feed off my energy for a brief moment. I hope this message provides you all with enough energy to last your time here. Don't worry. In the end, you will all see me again. Just remember I don't forget. Story 43. Singing. I'm not tone deaf, but everyone thinks I am because I sing poorly. Choir and voice lessons have never helped. Story 44. Learning other languages is challenging for me. I can grasp the concepts and look up information to work it out, but once I put the book down, it quickly fades from memory. I studied French and German in school and later attempted to learn Japanese, but none of it sticks. I focus more on Japanese because it is a language I genuinely wanted to learn, yet anything beyond the basics slips away easily. My memory is usually quite good, especially when it comes to remembering trivial things like songs my nephew enjoys. As for social interaction, I tend to be quite introverted. I experienced bullying in school, and now I find it difficult to talk to people. I manage to communicate what I need to and can engage in conversations about my interests, but small talk feels nearly impossible. Story 45. Trying not to zone out during a conversation when I know it's related to my work is challenging. I have to make a significant effort to stay focused. Story 46. I struggle with current multiplayer games. In the past, I excelled at Call of Duty, Black Ops 1 and 2, but these days, I find myself overwhelmed in every competitive multiplayer game. In Fortnite, I get jumped or sniped quickly. In Marvel Rivals, my attacks seem ineffective, while I can be eliminated in just 2 seconds. In NBA 2K, I'm outperformed by moves and tricks I can't even comprehend. In Warzone and Apex Legends, my reflexes feel slow, and I get outmatched easily. In Tekken and Street Fighter, I reached gold and a red/orange rank, but now I can't progress. I struggle with memorizing specific stick movements and combinations. I rely on basic combos and moves but can't win against players who seem incredibly skilled. In Forza and Gran Turismo 7, I get lapped by faster cars driven by much better players than I am. I think I'm well prepared, only to be left behind, and the gap is wide. In MMORPGs like Final Fantasy XIV, The Elder Scrolls Online, and World of Warcraft, I lack the time and commitment to compete with other players. What even is a hotkey? In card games like Hearthstone, Marvel Snap, Magic, The Gathering, and Pokemon, the pace is too fast, and somehow others always seem to have a better hand or a deck that counters mine, even if I research and learn how to play. Even in Among Us, I do what I'm supposed to do and respond appropriately, yet I still get voted out. It's tough out there. I think I'll stick to single-player games. Story 47. 1. Playing video games, especially role-playing games, which I absolutely love. Making friends and forming relationships. Developing helpful habits and having discipline. I tend to acquire bad habits with little effort. Getting close to cats. Story 48. Having a regulated nervous system is essential. I have practiced meditation, journaling, and therapy for years. However, when something arises, I often find myself awake at 3 a.m., unable to sleep for hours. I am starting to suspect that neurodivergence and hyperfocus may be the reasons for this. I have discovered that I can only reset properly with the help of a loved one who supports me in regulating my emotions. Someone to talk to and calm me down. Story 49. The frog leg motion in swimming is unique. I can swim other strokes, but I simply can't master the breaststroke. I spent years trying when I was younger before giving up. Story 50. Understanding intelligent life. It seems like everyone is acting irrationally. Are you sure those pills you are taking are sitting well with your brain? I don't think so. Story 51. Probably dating, I would say. I just got out of a 9-year relationship, and it's difficult getting back out there. I'm starting to realize I can't just express how I feel most of the time because it apparently isn't considered normal. Keeping that side of me in check has been a real struggle. Story 52. I can't explain it. It's as if no matter how hard I try or how many times I attempt to make it, I can never get my coffee right. It's either too much sugar with no coffee, no sugar with too much coffee, or it tastes like hot milk. Story 53. I am changing careers. I consider myself average, but the job market currently demands exceptional programming skills. Story 54. Reading music has always been a challenge for me. I loved to sing and participated in choirs while growing up. As an adult, being able to sight sing is essential for joining a singing group. Despite many attempts, I find it difficult to master. I try to enjoy singing on my own, but I truly miss the joy of harmonizing and singing with others. Story 55. Reading music. I love to sing and was in choirs growing up. As an adult, sight singing is a basic requirement for joining a singing group, and despite many attempts, I just cannot do it. I try to enjoy singing on my own, but the joy of harmony and singing with others is something I really miss. Story 56. Sports are not my forte. I struggle with anything related to sports or balls. As a gamer, this difficulty extends to sports as well. Story 57. Learning non-English languages. Beginning in elementary school and continuing through college, I have taken 5 years of Spanish, 2 years of Japanese, 1 year of French, 1 year of German, and 1 year of Russian. I have also lived in Turkey and Germany, trying to study the language while living there. Since returning to the United States, I have focused on German because it seemed like the language I had the most success with. However, I still struggle with it. I am decent at reading, but when it comes time to speak or write in another language, it feels like every word vanishes from my memory. I have spent much of my adult life working as a writer and have joked that there is just too much English in my brain to accommodate anything else. My family, who are all multilingual, sometimes gently tease me for only speaking one language. Story 58. Making homemade ravioli has been a challenge for me, but my efforts have produced edible results. Many others have not reached that stage yet. Story 59. I come across as friendly, but I have a straight face and am blunt. Changing that feels unnatural and is difficult for me. Social interactions are challenging for me. Story 60. Rollerblading, roller skating, and ice skating. Don't make my feet move on wheels or blades because my brain just can't handle it. Story 61. Folding the laundry is a hassle. I can wash all the clothes in a day, but it takes me a week or two to fold them all and put them away. I prefer keeping them in the laundry basket. Story 62. Everything has been thrown at me. Tuition, software, books, and extra coaching. Nothing worked. It all started when I was 6 years old. Now, at 50, I struggle with basic math. If you ask me what 27 plus 41 is, I couldn't tell you. If you ask for the new sale price when the sign says 20% off, I couldn't tell you that either. It's a wonder I have managed to get through life like this. I feel like a complete failure. Story 63. Planning events. I can plan a work project or a hobby project. However, whenever I plan a day for the family, a trip, a party, or a meal, nothing goes right. No one wants to follow along. I end up overlooking details, forgetting something important, or misjudging time. I forgot I needed charcoal for the grill, or I remember I'm supposed to give someone a lift, or I realize my family wants shrimp, but I'm not in the mood for seafood today. My wife complains that she's always the one planning things. I just tell her, "You take care of the thinking, I'm just the manpower." I am planning a garage sale in the spring, and I am determined to do something right for once. Story 64. I grew up playing PC games with a keyboard and mouse only. It's no wonder I'm terrible with controllers, no matter how much I try. Additionally, I struggle to remember names when I'm looking at someone. It usually takes some time for me to memorize a person's name. Story 65. Directions. I am directionally challenged. Even when leaving a hotel room, I always start by turning the wrong way to the elevator and have to make a physical U-turn back the other way. GPS was made for people like me. Story 66. Skipping rope. I remember participating in a jump rope charity marathon in 1984 and didn't do well. As I got older, I continued to practice skipping rope. As of last month, I was finally able to skip rope for 1 minute without stopping. 1 minute after 40 years of trying. Story 67. Hand and feet coordination. I need to dance with both at the same time. That's not going to happen. I can only dance at 50% tempo if the song is too fast. The waltz is too fast and salsa is too fast. I needed to train for over 20 hours for my 2-minute wedding dance. Story 68. Losing weight is challenging with the abundance of low-quality food available and limited time for exercise. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be costly. Story 69. Swimming. I am very slow and tread water about as well as a rock. I have taken several classes from different trainers. Story 70. Dancing. I made the mistake of not showing enough interest when I was younger. I decided to teach myself the Charleston and thought, why not follow a couple of dancing creators and get better? I am as uncoordinated as a newborn giraffe. Even with basic shuffles and steps, I feel lost. My timing is also off, so simple ones like the SpongeBob shuffle are beyond me. The basic movement of the Charleston shuffle looks poor when I attempt it. I have made a little progress, but my ankles, knees, and legs flail all over the place when I try. I will keep trying because it's fun, but I look like a mess when I do. Story 71. Making meatloaf tastes great, but it never sticks together. I have used every egg and breadcrumb ratio known and have let it set before cutting it. It still just crumbles. Story 72. Finding the right friends and women can be challenging. Now that I finally know what to look for, I worry that it may be too late for me to form good friendships or have a meaningful relationship. Story 73. Wrapping gifts has always been a challenge for me. After years of trying, I have decided to embrace using gift bags instead. Story 74. Socializing is a daily activity for me, but I often feel awkward and overwhelmed by even simple conversations. At times, I need to retreat to a quiet place, like the bathroom, until I feel more at ease. Story 75. Remembering how to play the guitar and certain songs comes to mind. Practice makes perfect. However, after I broke my left middle finger, I stopped practicing and never started again. Story 76. Fitting in. I feel like no matter where I go, there has always been someone who has either made fun of me, made me feel uncomfortable, or just outright disliked me without getting to know me. It's really sad, as I've always wanted to have a good group of friends. However, after all the experiences I've had in life, I feel a bit anxious about putting myself back out there. Story 77. Sport. I've never been any good at it. It is frustrating because all my family are sports enthusiasts. I feel like the odd one out. Story 78. Organization and thinking ahead. I am a walking tornado. I have tried to be organized and set goals for myself, but I never get it right. Story 79. Simple math. I have a learning disability, but I was born in the 1970s, so it was never diagnosed. I also have a slight case of dyslexia, which causes me to transpose numbers occasionally. Story 80. Stress management. I automatically shut down in public until I can deal with my emotions in private. I feel better after a break. Story 81. Guitar. I'm not bad and I have played before, but for someone who has played as long as I have made very little progress in the grand scheme of things. Story 82. So many times, life has uppercut me in the face whenever I procrastinate or put something off, and I never learn. For example, I'm doing it right now. In short, I'm terrible at taking hints. Story 83. Never understood those games. What they call killing, I call ganking. Less than a second to respond? That's not a kill, that's a gank. Story 84. I have bought books and watched several videos. I try, give up, and then try again. I just don't seem to have the patience to learn to play the ukulele. Story 85. Waking up early. Before 9:30 a.m. I admire morning people because I just can't do it. I can't even imagine having a child because I would have to wake up at 6 a.m. to get my child ready for school. I struggle with this. Story 86. Playing any instrument is a challenge for me. I am an accomplished touch typist and a fair musical producer, but my left brain and right brain activities struggle to accept that one hand can perform one task while the other hand performs something completely different. Story 87. Money management. When I was a teenager, I was really good at it. Back then, we could get paper checks and walk away with cash in our hands. Physical money is much easier to manage than digital numbers. My job doesn't allow us to have paper checks, so I can't request them. Additionally, having two conditions that lead to impulse spending is a significant issue. While I'm working with a therapist, I need a quick solution. This is the number one thing I dislike about myself, and one day I hope it will be resolved. Story 88. Dancing. I have no rhythm or coordination. It feels like my limbs operate under completely separate instructions at different times. Story 89. Where do I start? Baking, crafts such as crocheting, knitting, and sewing. Keeping a tidy house, even though I have children who seem averse to cleaning up after themselves. Gardening and keeping plants alive. Exercising effectively. Dancing. I could go on. I genuinely try hard but never seem to see proportional results. I don't mind, though. I'll continue to do these things for fun. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.